Welcome back to my channel. My name is Janice. For today's vlog, I'm gonna be reading Remain, which is one of my most highly anticipated reads of the year, specifically because it's by two very interesting authors. The authors are Nicholas Sparks and M. Night Shyamalan. If you don't know who they are, Nicholas Sparks is the one that wrote The Notebook, and M. Night Shyamalan is a director. He has directed films like Split and The Sixth Sense and Old, which is one of my favorite. And when I saw this collab, I was like, I never thought I would see them two paired up, which I thought was really cool, but kind of out of nowhere. And he's known for very weird, speculative films, which I thought was an interesting collab that they would decide to write a book. And the premise instantly got me because it says that it's a supernatural love story. So I don't really know what to expect from that. I'm not sure if M. Night Shyamalan has ever written any other books, but I think this is his first book. The premise says a one-of-a-kind novel that grapples with the supernatural mysteries of life, death, and human connection. Oh, and here it does say coming soon as a major motion picture directed by M. Night Shyamalan. So it is going to be a movie, and it's going to be starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Phoebe Denvor. I guess it is confirmed to be a film, which is super exciting. I am listening to the audiobook, and I am 32% in. It's only 9 hours long, so I think I'll read it pretty quickly. We follow the main character, and his name is Tate, and he comes from a really rich family. He hasn't really had to struggle with anything growing up, and he went to school, became an architect. Now he's going through this grief because his sister recently passed away from an illness. He's kind of dealing with that, and he started getting these major depression episodes. He ended up checking himself into a facility to help with that. He has a best friend named Oscar that is also super rich, basically gives him this project to build a house in Cape Cod. And since he is an architect, he's like, here you go. Can you build me and my family a home? And he kind of gives him this project just to get him out of that slump and get him back focused into his work. He ends up staying at a bed and breakfast, and this bed and breakfast used to be closed, and they only opened it up so he can stay there. As the days go by, he starts hearing like weird noises at night, and then one day he wakes up and there's this woman in the kitchen, and she's just hanging out, and he's like, what are you doing here? And she's just like, what? Like, I've been here, you know? And she's just doing like yoga or something like that and reading. He's kind of taken back because he thinks she's really pretty. And then he goes and asks the owners about this woman, and they're like, what? Like, no one has been staying here besides you. Like, we only opened it because of you. And now that he told the owners, they're like, no, like this girl that you're talking about, she actually died 2 years ago. And he's like, what the heck? Like, that's weird. Like, why am I seeing her then, you know? So he's just really intrigued in this ghost, basically. I did get to a point right now at the 32% mark where it did kind of freak me out. He basically wakes up one day and he keeps hearing like a banging in the restroom, and he's like, let me go check it out, you know? And at this point, he already knows that she's a ghost. Goes to the restroom and he sees someone with really long hair in the bathroom, and she's just banging her head against the sink. He turns the light on and no one's there. It's just the faucet that's running. So it means that something was there that turned on the water and chilling in the restroom, banging their head. So that whole scene did kind of freak me out. It was pretty creepy. So I'm interested to see how the romance will develop. So that's where I'm at with the book. Today, I just have a couple errands to run. Then I'm doing a couple laundry right now, so I'm gonna finish that up. So I'm gonna keep reading and see where the story leads us.
okay to sex me before the game? What the fuck?
You were hurt, weren't you? For how long?
Good morning vlog. It's the next day. I just finished grabbing some breakfast. I love a good orange juice. Yesterday I ended up reading a little bit, and then I went to grab my favorite matcha at my favorite coffee shop, and then we just hung out for the rest of the night. We ate dinner, and then I watched Heated Rivalry. Oh my god, can we just talk about the show for a second? Because I am obsessed. I don't think I've been this obsessed since Bridgerton season 1 and season 2 specifically, but I just keep looking up edits. I can't stop thinking about it. And me and Paola watched the first episode on Friday when it premiered. We got off work and we're like, let's go watch it in the car because we couldn't wait till we got home. So we ended up watching the first episode in the car in the parking lot of Chick-fil-A. And in the first episode, there's a lot of spice scenes. So we were watching it in the car with the volume up, and then we were just like, oh my god. We were just scared that people were gonna pass by the car and see what we were watching, and they're gonna be like, what the heck? Because we were so surprised at how much spicy scenes there were. If you don't know what this show's about, it's basically about these two guys named Ilya and Shane, and they are hockey players, specifically rival hockey players, because they play for two different teams, and they end up having this forbidden romance, which is one of my favorite tropes. And since I've been really into hockey lately, and we've been going to a lot of hockey games, I am just so obsessed. I just can't. The whole time watching the first episode, we were just screaming at the tension. Their chemistry is so good. I'm just begging everyone to watch it because I just want to keep talking about it 24/7. It's gay romance, hockey, hot guys, kissing, super spicy scenes, literally the best. Today is really exciting because me and Paola are gonna go watch the new Hamnet movie with our Pookie Paul Mescal. It's a romance with Paul Mescal, and it's supposed to make you cry. Literally all our favorite things. I keep seeing that people come out of the movie bawling their eyes out, so I didn't put any eyeliner or any eye makeup on because I feel like I'm gonna cry too, so I didn't want to get my makeup all messed up. So let's see how that goes. I'm about to be on my way to meet her, so we're gonna go watch the movie, and then there's a Barnes & Noble right next to the theater, so we're probably gonna check that out and see if they have any sales for Black Friday. Maybe, I'm not sure. I just got to the theater a little bit early, so I thought I'd give you a reading update. I am 62% in to the book now, and at this point, I'm kind of sad to say that the romance hasn't really picked up as I thought it would, especially because it does say it's a supernatural love story, and you would assume that there would be more of a romance plot. There has been a couple moments where I was like, ooh, okay, yeah, they do belong together, Because she is a ghost and he's obviously a human, there's not much that they can do. She pops up as a ghost and then she kind of disappears. But I feel like her disappearing is kind of a metaphor in a way because they both have a lot of trauma. So it's kind of her trauma being shown through that way of her being a ghost. I don't really know if that makes sense because it's kind of hard to explain. And at this point, we are trying to figure out what happened to her. And now the story kind of has turned into a mystery, which I didn't really expect because I thought it would mainly focus on the romance part. There is one scene I really liked where it was the main character, Tate, and the girl, and they're kind of having a date night at the house. She's like, let's play a game. And he's like, okay. She's like, let's play this game where we can get close to each other but not touch each other. And whoever touches each other first loses. And he's like, okay. So he kind of starts roaming his hands around her body, but obviously not touching her. I feel like that scene was written by Nicholas Sparks because it did give that intimacy and that very flirty vibe that I remember from The Notebook, especially their banter. That does really remind me of The Notebook in that way. So I did really like that scene because we kind of see like the tension between them. I'm about to start walking to the theater right now, and I saw that they have a little cute farmers market. So that's pretty cute. Maybe we'll walk by there. Let's get going. Us before Hamnet. Let's see. Some serotonin after the depressing watch. I'm convincing Paola to read Birthday Girl.
It's my birthday soon too.
For January, for your birthday? Perfect.
My January read.
And then we're talking about our boys that we read, what, a couple months ago?
A couple months ago.
These are stepbrothers. Time for some pizza because I'm starving. Hi vlog, it's the next day and I wanted to show you guys what I ended up getting at Barnes. We watched the movie Hamnet and then we went to Barnes. Oh my gosh, Hamnet was so good. I ended up giving it a 4 out of 5 stars. It definitely lived up to everybody's review where they were saying that it was so emotional and such a beautiful story, and it ended up being more emotional than I thought. It was probably like 20 minutes in and I was already tearing up and I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be a tough watch. I did end up tearing up a lot, especially in the middle. Like I was trying to hold it back, and yeah, there's just one scene, well, multiple scenes, not just that one scene, but specifically the one scene I'm thinking about. It was so intense. It kind of reminded me of the film Roma, where it's a really tough childbirth scene. If you watched Roma, you know what scene I'm talking about. But yeah, Hamnet is really good, really heavy topics, but I did really like the ending. And I don't know why I completely forgot that Paul Mescal was gonna be William Shakespeare. Like, I don't know why. I think it was like by the ending, I was like, wait, duh, that's him. But like, they don't really say his name throughout the film, so I like completely forgot that he was supposed to be playing William Shakespeare. Anyways, back to the haul. We went to Barnes specifically to look at the Criterion sale that they were having, because they were having a 50% off all of their Blu-rays and DVDs. I ended up picking up Memories of Murder by Bong Joon-ho, which is the same director as Parasite and Mickey 17. I haven't watched this one, but it's been on my watch list for such a long time, and it has to do with serial killings in a rural community in the 1980s, and it does take place in Seoul, so I am really excited to give this one a watch. And then I saw this one right next to it, and I am surprised I don't have this on DVD already, but I ended up getting The Truman Show, which is one of my all-time favorites, and it was only $5, so I was like, this is a really good deal. We were also at Barnes because because lately me and Paola got back into Sudoku and we're honestly so obsessed. I had mentioned it to her because I started getting TikToks of people playing Sudoku and getting like really aesthetic Sudoku books. So she ended up buying the same book that I got the other day. I'll show it to you guys in just a second. So me and Paola both bought it and look how cute it is. It's like this cute little volume 1 of the Sudoku and we've been doing them daily and it's just been so fun and look how aesthetic it is. Like it's so cute. I ended up getting this word search book at Barnes, the big book of word searches. And I saw it there and then I remembered how much I did like doing word searches as well. And me and Paula have been looking for other things to do besides just doom scrolling on our phones. And I feel like lately I've kind of had to take a step back from social media, especially like just doom scrolling on TikTok and Instagram, because I felt like that was just consuming so many hours of my day. And I just kind of wanted to stop that habit. So that's kind of why I ended up picking up puzzles and trying to do other things besides be on my phone. That's what I ended up getting at Barnes. And then after Barnes, I ended up just going home and eating. And then I got a random splurge of energy. You know when you get home and then you think you're tired and then it hits like 12 a.m. and you're like, I feel like I need to deep clean my whole room. I ended up deep cleaning my desk and like taking a bunch of junk out that I didn't even need anymore. I was just taking up a bunch of space. And then, oh my God, I ended up finding my old camera. This is the one that I use to take all my MySpace pictures. Like, I remember going to the Curaçao and buying this. Like, I was begging my parents for us to get a camera. I ended up charging it and the battery just didn't work. So I had to buy a new replacement battery, but it came in today and now it actually works. Look at that. But I've just been taking pictures of my room and they have been coming out pretty cool. I am just obsessed with this. Like it's so nostalgic and I'm excited to use it this week. But for a reading update, I am 76% in now. I read a little bit today in the morning and then last night. The story is dragging a little bit. It's kind of feeling a bit repetitive right now. We're just still trying to solve the main mystery of the story. But I'm about to start listening to it at 1.8 speed because I need the story to pick up like now. I have like 2 hours left, so it shouldn't be too bad to finish. It's been a couple days since I've last updated you. I finally finished Remain and I've had a couple days to think about it. I think my final rating will be a 3-star. I think at the beginning I was really invested, especially the first half, because I think more of the romance elements were there. But by the end, I feel like we kind of completely lost the plot of the romance and we just focused on the main mystery, which is why I was pretty disappointed. I was here for a love story, like it said on the cover. I thought that's what we were gonna get. I was talking about this book with my friend from work because she was also reading it, and we both noticed that we do really like Nicholas Sparks' writing. I do want to read more of his other book. And a 3-star for me is just not the worst, but not the best. It was just okay, you know? I feel like reading it with the audiobook, following along definitely helped. And I think it wrapped up pretty well. I did enjoy the epilogue. At the end, it did have like an acknowledgments or like an author's note. It was Nicholas Sparks talking about the creation of the book. And I found it interesting how he was saying how he's been a huge horror fan for so long. I thought that was really interesting to hear about. I think if I were to recommend this book, I would say go into this thinking it's a mystery with a slight romance plot. My initial plan was to end the vlog here because I was only planning to read this one book in this vlog. I started reading another book and I was like, how about let's just keep the good vibes going. So I'm going to keep continuing vlogging for this other read that I just started because this one's so good and I just want to talk about it. And I have a couple fun things planned this weekend. So I was like, I'm going to just bring you guys along. I started reading The Lesbian's Guide to Catholic School. And look at that cover. I am obsessed with this cover. And this one had been on my TBR for such a long time. But the way the whole US government has gone to shit at the beginning of the year, I was just in a really bad mental state at the time. I was like, no, I just can't read this at that time. So I just ended up pushing it back. And I think now is a good time for me to read it. I think I am more mentally stable for it. In this story, we follow Yami and she's in 11th grade and her father got deported when she was 9 years old and she lives with her brother and her mom. And her mom basically had to raise her herself because the dad ended up going to Mexico and living there. And she basically gets outed for being gay at her school by her best friend. She ended up switching schools to a Catholic school. She herself is religious, but I think as she starts going to the classes, she kind of starts to question religion and all the rules that they set and the shame they put on people who are gay. And she has a complicated relationship with her mom because her mom is very religious, very traditional Mexican mom, and she's very homophobic and she's made it clear of how she feels about gay people. And then she ends up meeting this group of friends, and I love this new group of friends she just met at the school. They're definitely the rebels of the school. They're all very liberal. They're very outspoken. They want to challenge everything they're learning in class having to do with race, religion, abortion. And we get to see a lot of those scenes throughout the story. And there's one girl specifically in the group named Bo, and Yami kind of gets a liking to her. She thinks she's really cute, and since she's really outspoken about everything, especially gay issues at the school, she ends up befriending her and we see her develop this friendship, which I'm assuming they might end up together. So I'm excited to see where their friendship goes. Also, I forgot to mention that I am 30% into the book. That's kind of why I know so much that's been happening. So I forgot to mention that. And for today's plans, it's really exciting because it's Friday, which means a new episode of Heated Rivalry. And we're going to a hockey game tonight. I might have to watch a little snippet while we're at the game just to get the good vibes going. We're going to be at a hockey game and the show is about hockey, so why not? And tonight's game is Naruto themed. So at the game, they're going to give us like this little like Naruto headband. That'll be fun. But before the game, we're going to go to the movies and we're going to go watch the new Eternity movie. I am so excited. I had gotten invited to an early screening of it and I regret not going. I keep hearing nothing but good things about it, and it's a love triangle. I love a good love triangle. And Callum Turner, his edits with Dua Lipa, like they are just so cute together and I'm obsessed with both of them. So I thought I'd bring you guys along for the fun day that we have planned. So let's get going. We're out of the movie. That's so sad. New character unlocked for my vlog. Oh. Guys, this is Lupita. vlog. It's the next day and last night was so fun, and it was cool because they had anime trivia throughout the game. They were playing a bunch of anime theme songs, like they had the Pokemon song and the Neon Genesis song. You could tell like the anime peeps showed up. We had a lot of fun and I was able to use my new camera. Well, not new, but the one I ended up finding. I ended up using it. I'll show a couple pictures that I took and they came out so cute. I love a good flash camera. We saw a couple fights break out, maybe like 2 or 3. And it's funny because every time the players fight, me and Paola are always like, kiss, kiss, kiss. And then my friend Lupita was like, violence, 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 because she wants to see people fight and we want to see boys kiss. Overall, a great night as always. I thought I'd give you guys a reading update. I am about 43% into the book now. We just learned new information about Yami and her brother. I am loving where the story is going. Because of the new information we find out, we get to see Yami and her brother grow a closer like sibling relationship. And I always love seeing sibling relationships, especially when they're young, like in this story where they're in high school. I remember growing up, I was so jealous of siblings that were really young and were super close. Growing up, me and my sister weren't really that close, so I was always jealous of them hanging out like after school or at school on lunch. The mom is still making very homophobic comments about gay people she sees in TV shows. Another aspect I really like is seeing Yami and her dad's relationship since he did get deported when she was really young. I liked that they still kept in contact and they still talk every day. Even though she hasn't seen him since she was 9 years old, they still have that really close connection where she can always call him for any problem that she has. I like that the dad is the really supportive parent. She even says in the story how she feels that the day that she does come out, she will tell her dad first because she knows that her dad will 100% support her and is very open and more liberal than her mom. But yeah, that's where I'm at in the story right now. And for today's part of the vlog, we're about to head out to the Anaheim packing district. I haven't been there in a minute. I remember I used to go a lot like in high school and after high school, but I recently saw a TikTok of this guy go there and try these fish and chips, and I love fish and chips, so I was like, let's go and try them. I'm excited for that. I also wanted to show you guys these things that we ordered from Bob Baker's Marionette. They just got in the mail today, and if you don't know who they are a marionette theater in LA. We found this cute clown puppet on their website, and look at him. He's so cute, and we chose the red one because they had different colors. And here he is outside of the bag. Oh my god, he's so cute. Look at the detail. Look at the outfit with the little shoes. And I can make him close his eyes, open them, close them, open them. This is our first puppet. We need to come up for a name for him. If you have any ideas, let me know and comment below. We also got this really cute hat that says Bob Baker Marionette Theater. And I think this is part of their Halloween collection because look at that little spooky ghost looking thing. So let's head out for some good food and some reading sprints later tonight. been a couple of days and I am now finished with A Lesbian's Guide to Catholic School. I am happy to say it was an immediate 5 stars. I loved it so much. I need a copy of it like now because I need that on my bookshelf. I'm still so obsessed with the cover. And now I know why it won so many awards because it is truly such a heartwarming story. By the end, I was so emotional. I did end up crying. I was able to relate so much to it, and especially because I am Mexican and coming from a Mexican household and experiencing those very traditional Mexican way of thinking where a lot of older Mexican generations are very homophobic. They're not very liberal. They're not very accepting of a lot of things. And I liked how the story really dove into that. And through Yami's mom, we were able to see her kind of dismantle that traditional Mexican way of thinking that just because your religion says you have to do this one thing or hate this certain group of people, it doesn't mean that you have to follow those rules as well. And Yami's mom was able to break away from that thinking and accept her children. And I thought that was very beautiful to see. I also really liked the sibling relationship, and by the end they grew even closer. And there is trigger warnings for suicide, which I didn't know going into the story, so definitely check the trigger warnings for this one. There's one specific scene at the end where they're all cussing someone out, and I just loved that scene so much. And the side plot of Yami and Bo having a relationship was so cute. I am obsessed with them. Like, I wish they would make this into a show because I would be shipping them so hard. It was so cute to see them kind of come to terms with having their first big crush. They were both not sure if the other liked them. Also, the added element that they each didn't know that they were both gay at the beginning. Overall, I feel like Yami had a really good support system by the end. I think that's what really got to me. That's why I was so emotional, because it was just so nice to see her finally have the support that she thought she didn't have. I highly recommend this book. It was so good. This is the end of the vlog. Thank you guys so much for watching and following me along for these past 2 weeks. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye!